Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is a 2018 film that's set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film franchise. And this film is directed by, once again, by Peyton Reed. And the plot is, this film takes place 2 years after the events of Captain America Civil War. We see Scott Lang, played by, once again, by Paul Rudd, who is now house arrest after he broke the law in the Sokovia Accords. And of course, he's only got 3 more days to be free again. It's not till he has this dream or this vision he saw Janet, who is Hank's wife, somewhere in the quantum realm, and of course she's in Janet's body. And of course, it's not till he got reunited with Hope and Hank to go to the quantum realm and find Janet to bring her back to reality. But it's not till this familiar thing from the past that's catching up on him from Hank's past, and also other characters are looking for Scott Lang. What do I think of Ant-Man and the Wasp I think it's okay. It's okay. It's a fine movie for what it was trying to do. It's nowhere as good as the first film. It's not top tier MCU, but I wouldn't call it downgrade or just below average from the MCU movie. It has its moments, but there are some things in there from the story wise, because this film came out just a few months after Avengers Infinity War, and this film was going back to playing it safe, which, don't get me wrong, playing it safe is not a bad thing, but it does feel like an afterthought. But I'll get to the negatives. We'll just start with the positives. The acting is great. I have no problem with the acting. I think everyone does their best. Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, he's great as always. He's likable, charming, funny as always. But the biggest problem I have with Scott in this character, he's come across like a oblivious idiot most throughout the entire movie. Now, look, Scott is not the brightest person. He does have his smartness from the first film, where he can hack into things and break into houses and stuff in the movie. But this one, he comes across out of character. He does feel a bit out of place for the most part. Hope, played by Evangeline Lilly, she's fine. I will admit the Wasp costume is very cool, but she's just there for the most part. There's not much to her, despite the fact that I think her character handled a little bit more better in the first film, because how she feels regret about her and Hank's relationship, like father-daughter relationship with them, about after having to Janet. But most of it just felt undercooked. There's so much stuff in there. I like the bit where Scott finally redeemed himself after he has to run away, after the cops and the FBI took Hope and Hank away for the most part. But the strongest part about Scott Lang's character is him and Cassie. They both have this relationship that's still there. Just like the first film, it still has the strong point of the Ant-Man movies. It's between Scott and Cassie. I think that's the strong point of the movie. Of course, you do have that one scene where Cassie's speaking to Scott Lang, her father, saying that you need to watch someone in your back, like a partner, talking about her and Hope, about him and Hope being together as partners, which I thought that was a really nice moment. It was a touchy moment, I will say. It's a touchy moment. Of course, Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, great as always. I love Michael Douglas. He's just great to watch. He's always the fun part about the movie, the first one, especially with him reacting when Scott was going to meet his friends, the Wombats, Michael Pena as Louise, and a few other characters. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the way Hank's reaction is, no, 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 no. Cuts to them in seeing them. It just gets me all the time. Michael Pena's Louise, he's good. He's always made me laugh. But the way he tells the story like the first one, but I think the first movie did it better because the way he interacts is a little bit better. But this one, it feels like a bit too cartoony, a bit over the top, especially with Angelina Lilly and Paul Rudd did that mouth movement. And it's not bad per se, it's just a little bit sufferable. And Scott's suit, when he has his malfunction problems, especially in the school, we're trying to get the prototype suit from the trophy, which is the world's greatest grandma trophy, which I will admit it's kind of funny. But other than that, it's just there. It's just for comedic purposes, which Don't get me wrong, Marvel is known to have its humor now. Humor is a subjective thing, but in this film, it does have its humor where it does make me laugh. But I did laugh a bit where he runs back in the van and he did got the suit and saying, "Hey champ, how's school today? Oh, ha ha, really cranky. Do you want some cheese strings and juice box? Do you got those?" That was pretty funny. The rest of the humor is mostly more or less the same. It's hit and miss. But I did like Louise said the ending drives in the car and he goes, "What's up?" at Scott and Hope and Hank Pym is just amazing. Another new character, well, 3 new characters. Bill Foster, played by Lawrence Fishburne. Now, Lawrence Fishburne, he's a great actor. He does what he does in certain movies, but his character is fine. We do get enough about him and Hank Pym's history together when they worked together, but they didn't chance to know each other anymore now. They didn't like each other. And of course, he does work for S.H.I.E.L.D., but he has this woman whose name is Avia Starr, who knows as Ghost, which Avia Starr Ghost, played by Hannah John Carmen, I think that's her name is. She's fine. Her performance is okay. Her character, though, not that interesting. I thought she's just meh. She's just there. There's not much to her. You expect her to see her origin, how she got her powers, and how she becomes the Ghost, and she's doing all these espionage missions and stealth missions, but other than that, she's just there. There's not much to her, despite the fact that she wants to be cured because she's fizzing out her body, like physically and reality. But other than that, she's just there. Not much to her, minus a few things here and there. But other than that, she's not that interesting. She's just there, especially Walter Hogan's character, who's looking for Scott. Not much to him. He's just there. Walter Hogan is a fine actor. I see him in Tomb Raider movie, which this film came out the same year as Tomb Raider, a couple months prior. But he's just there. His performance is fine, but there's not much to him. He's just there, especially the goons. Especially he's got this truth serum and they put on Louise's arm and tell him where Scott Lang is. But it was just come across a bit too silly, my liking, for the most part. The scenes are pretty fun. I do really enjoyed the car chase scenes with the Hot Wheels stuff when they go up and down shrink, and it was just amazing. I thought it was a really enjoyable moment. Of course, Hope throw things and shoots the wing to make things bigger to hit on the other stuff. And of course, they throw this little PIDs of Hello Kitty, so it's kind of like another thing from the first film with Thomas the Tank Engine thing. Even though I think the Thomas the Tank Engine stuff in the first movie is a little bit better than it. But don't get me wrong, Hello Kitty is pretty funny, but not as much as that. Oh, and the Stan Lee cameo. It's too pass up there. The 60s are fun now. I'm paying for it. And of course, we do have Janet Van Dyne, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who I would say I really like that. So that's a really good casting choice. Because through the time movie, I thought I think we cast someone like Catherine Zeta-Jones, who is Michael Douglas' wife in real life, and I thought that's what they're going to cast. But no, they're going with Michelle Pfeiffer, and I thought that was a pretty bold choice. It's cool to see her in the MCU, especially as we saw her as Catwoman, Selena Kyle, in Batman Returns, which is another comic book film that she did before this. But she's great. I do like her. She's decent. She wasn't in the movie that much, but you do see her. She does some stuff, but she's only the quarter for a long while in the movie, and of course you do get the backstory and the digital effects on her and Michael Douglas. Great. I like it. Other than that, I would say for the most part, it's just okay. The visuals are fine. The ending did feel a little bit undercooked, and some of the stuff, it could have been so much better, so much potential with the script. I think they could have done some things out. I think get rid of Walter Hogan's character. I don't think he'd be in the movie. That's pointless to put in the movie because that drives the movie down. I don't mind Ghost in the movie, but I think that's the main focus. I think they should have Ghost as the main character, as the main villain. Maybe rewrite some Scott Lang's character moments because I think he's just wasted. He just comes across like a buffoon in the movie because from the first film, it's kind of like a step down. Mid-credits scene is where Scott Lang goes into this quantum realm while Hope and Janet and Hank are going to bring him out of the quantum realm as he collect one of those stuff for the girl's character to hopefully it heals her from fizzing out. So know what happens. The snap happens. Thanos dusted Hope, Janet, and Hank, and now we know what happens in the end game, which you've seen before, you know what I'm talking about. But the moment I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this setting. The same continuity as Infinity War. Oh jeez. Overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't hate this movie. It has its moments, but it's just, it could have done better. There's some good stuff in there, but other than that, it's just, I think it's a bit underwhelming. Movie I can sit and watch. I can enjoy it for what it's trying to do, but it's just, it felt undercooked and underneath. Oh yeah, almost forgot another character. Randall Park as Agent Wu from WandaVision. He's fine, but he's just there. He just comes across annoying a little bit. I'll just say that for the most part. My rating for Ant-Man and the Wasp is stream it. Stream it on Disney Plus. Just stream it. Well, guys, that's my review on Ant-Man and the Wasp. Tell me, what's your thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp? Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you think it's okay? Or do you hate it? Whatever the case is, comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are. And of course, guys, if you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, please no spoilers, because I'm going to see it this Sunday. I will do a review on that at some point soon. And of course, guys, until next time, see ya!